Welcome back to Corporate Elements. Joining me today is Alan Lazaros, founder and CEO of Next Level University, which is a globally recognized personal development platform and a podcast reaching listeners across more than 180 countries. Alan's work focuses on helping people improve their health, wealth, relationship, and overall fulfillment while pursuing high performance. For listeners meeting you for the first time, Alan, can you walk us through with your journey from the corporate world to building the next level university and help us with an experience that shaped your philosophy around the growth and discipline?
Yeah, so it all starts with a story way back. So it's important to know who you're talking to. First of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's
And
an
thank you to
absolute
anyone.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And anyone watching or listening, I don't take it lightly. The 21st century is alarmingly noisy and it's full of a lot of nonsense. So I won't waste a second of anyone's time. Thank you for having me. So my story, I'll condense 37 years into just a minute here. 1988, I was born in Massachusetts, born and raised. I had a birth father named John who passed away when I was 2 in a car, very tragically, very suddenly. That was very hard on my family. I had a stepfather from age 3 to 14 named Steve Lazaros. My birth name is McCorkle. John McCorkle was my dad. And I took his last name around age 7. Steve Lazaros was my stepfather. He left my family at 14, took 90% of the income with him, also took his entire extended family with him. I've never seen or spoken to them since. I talked to him a little bit on Facebook Messenger, but not much. And that was the time when I became sort of the man of the house at 14, and it was a very tough year. And I went from, I hope I get into WPI. It was my dream college. It's an engineering school, kind of like a mini MIT in Massachusetts. Very famous engineering school. That was my dream. And it was $50,000 a year. This is back then. I had 2 dreams. I had dozens of dreams, but 2 of them that were more dreams and visualizations than fantasies. These were the 2 main career paths I was going to take. One was going to be engineer, MBA, CEO. The other one was going to be lawyer, politician, president. And I had a law class in my sophomore year of high school that made me decide not to go the lawyer, politician, president road. I lost a court case that I thought was wildly unjust, and I decided that justice was not the path I was going to take in terms of that. So I went with engineer, MBA, CEO. Got into WPI. I got straight A's through all of high school to get all the financial aid and scholarships that I could get because we were very poor, quite frankly, when my stepdad left. Got into WPI, got my computer engineering degree, got my master's in business, and then I was at a bunch of tech companies. Tyco Safety Products, it's now Simplex Grinnell. iRobot I worked for. iRobot in Bedford, Massachusetts. I worked for Tyco Safety Products. I already mentioned that. Oz Development. Eventually landed at a company called Cognex. And there was a couple others in between. But Cognex was my main. I stayed there for several years. I started with inside sales engineering. Started a little inside sales engineering team. And then I got promoted to outside sales engineering. And it was Vermont, Connecticut, and Western Massachusetts was my territory. And for those of you who don't know Cognex, it's a machine vision company. Machine vision is the eyes of robotics in automation. So picture this camera with water bottles going down a line, making sure the cap is on properly for every single one of them. It's quality assurance stuff. So I had huge customers like General Electric, Ben and Jerry's, all this kind of stuff, which is actually owned by Unilever. But I did very, very well. So I was in my early 20s. I became a global 1% earner in my early 20s. I paid off $84,000 worth of college debt in a single year. And I was off to the races. And I had $150,000 in a Vanguard account in my early 20s of all tech companies. I didn't need much. I grew up broke after my stepdad left, so I learned how to need very little. My rent was $500 a month. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have kids. I bought a 2004 Volkswagen Passat and $5,000 cash. I was making a lot of money and spending very little of it. And that's become a superpower in entrepreneurship, by the way. Low expenses is a superpower. But how did I transition from corporate to entrepreneurship? When I was 26, I got in a head-on collision. My fault. No one was killed, fortunately, because this was bad. Both cars were totaled. This was 30 miles an hour head-on collision. And no one was permanently damaged. We were definitely rattled, but no one was killed. And that's very fortunate because it would have been my fault. And that was the second chance my dad never got. I was 26 at the time. My father died in a car at 28 when I was 2. So when I was 26, I got in my own car accident. And this was sort of the second chance my dad never got. And I promised myself that day that I would reach my full potential and help other people do the same. Because quite frankly, I was very successful, and I was, but I don't care. Like, I was resting on talent. School always came easy to me. I definitely felt academically gifted, and I definitely wasn't trying nearly as hard as I could have and should have, and that's just my truth. In hindsight, I do think I tried more than the average bear, but people hear me say that now. They're like, what do you mean? You tried so hard. It's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was putting very little on the court compared to what I have. So I promised myself, that was 11 years ago. That's when I started a company called Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. Because I was a straight A student in high school. I got the President's Award signed by George W. Bush. It's behind me, this one. And I didn't learn a ton that I should have learned, in my opinion. Courage, humility, vulnerability, virtue, time management, productivity, goal setting, metrics, habits, skills. There's such a huge gap. Fitness, finance. I didn't take my first finance course till I was in grad school. That is alarming. And Massachusetts has an excellent education system compared to the global statistics. Massachusetts is near the top. And I still didn't learn 1/10 of what I should have learned, in my honest opinion. So I was so angry that I hadn't learned about personal development. I think there's 3 things everyone has to master, and I'll get off the soapbox. You have to master personal development, understanding yourself. You have to master social development, which is understanding others and how to build relationships and trust and all that kind of stuff, empathy, all that. And then you have professional development, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, business, finance, writing, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn. So the education system, the traditional education system in the US, I'll just speak for the US, it is good at professional development. It is terrible at personal development, and it's not that good at social development, quite frankly. So I had a huge gap in my awareness. I found personal development, self-improvement, and personal growth 11 years ago. I fell in love with it. And now I basically coach 38 individuals. We have a 24-person team. We have 2,500 episodes of our podcast. Next Level University podcast, Next Level You, pun intended. Not Next Level Me, not Next Level Kevin, Next Level You. Kevin's my business partner and my co-host. And it's success and personal development in your pocket from anywhere on the planet every single day, completely free. It's everything I wish we learned in school that we desperately need to know, but aren't really focused on.
Thank you, Alan, for being so vulnerable. What I hear from you is you're a self-made man. At a very young age, you are taking your own decisions and you're walking on this small plank with narrow valley on both the sides, and you have successfully crossed it. And congratulations on your podcast success. And what really fascinates me is that all your learnings you have actually included in just the name of your business, that is the university, the Next Level University. I'm glad we're having this conversation. At the start only, I'm so pumped up right now. And thank
Yeah.
you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And uh, you mentioned about distracting world uh, at first, and what I find fascinating is that we never had more tools available.
Yeah.
Like right now we have, such as AI writes emails, web calendar that reminds us, and fitness watches monitors our sleep. Yet people seem more overwhelmed than ever,
Mm-hmm.
and which is quite surprising to me. Like, are we facing a discipline crisis or an attention crisis? I want to understand what are you seeing among high performers today concerns you most, because I'm following you on Instagram. I see every day you're working out, you're working on your business, and I don't see you taking break.
Mm-hmm.
You're not so passionate about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, the first thing I'll share, and again, I think it takes courage to share this. I actually think that a lot of people are very lazy. If you're not lazy and you are really hardworking, then I'm not talking about you. But I actually think the 21st century has made us alarmingly lazy. So that's part one. Part two is the distractions are insane. It's insane. You can look this up, like research this. The amount of internet connected devices has 1,000x'd in the last 10 years. There are so there's 195 countries on Earth. Like, really just think about the math. There's 195 countries on Earth. There's 8.3 billion human beings. Billion. People still say 7. It's crossed 8 so long ago. Not to mention, even when it was 7.8, you're supposed to round up, right? So it's 8.3 billion people on Earth, 195 countries, 6 billion on the internet. Starlink has increased the access to the internet exponentially. So everyone is living a life with literally 10,000 times more distractions than previous generations. And these devices are literally addictive. They are so unreasonably addictive. And so we do have a discipline crisis. We do have an attention crisis. We are all wildly overwhelmed, but not with important work. And I've coached 7,221. I call it my magic number. And Kevin and I, we joke, my business partner, he's a podcaster who tolerates coaching. I'm a coach who tolerates podcasting. I like one-on-one. I'm grateful to be here. I am, but I like one-on-one better. He likes one to scale. So podcasting is one to scale, group coaching is one to several, and then one-to-one coaching is one-to-one. And they all feed each other. You have to do all three, right? But anyway, so the reason I tell you the 7,221 coaching sessions, all an hour, so it's 7,221 hours. If you've ever heard of the 10,000 hour rule, which is, there's a lot of discrediting information about it, but essentially what the 10,000 hour rule means is if you want to be world-class at a certain skill, you have to have deep practice, what's referred to as deep practice or deliberate practice. You can look this up, and for 10,000 hours. And one of the reasons I'm here, quite frankly, is to get practice, right? It's a way to practice my effective communication. So anyways, the reason I'm saying the 7,000 hours, 7,221, is because I'm not just talking. So 38 clients currently, but hundreds over the years. Different industries, different backgrounds, different cultures, different people, different ethnicities, different sexes, different circumstances. One of my clients did 9 million last year, going for 12 million this year. Another one of my clients, 45,000 last year, 60,000 this year. So all over the spectrum. And these principles emerge. There are principles that apply to all of us. Yes, you're unique. So am I. The principles apply to everybody. They don't apply in the same way. I'll give you an example. We're all fearful. I always joke. I say there's two types of people on earth. There's people that are fearful and insecure, and there's liars. So everyone's fearful and insecure, but not of the same thing. Some people are insecure about being too much, too intense, too focused, too hardworking, too disciplined. That's me. Some people are insecure about not being enough, not smart enough, not good enough, not capable enough, right? And then we trigger each other, obviously. But anyway, so do we have an attention crisis? Do we have a discipline crisis? That was your question. We have both. There's something called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It is the part of the brain. Neuroscience has proven, you can look this up, it has been proven in neuroscience that you can change your brain. Everything you do and don't do affects your brain. And you can have functional, chemical, and structural changes in your brain. We used to think the brain peaked at 25. That is crap. Absolute nonsense. That's not true. My brain is way better now than it was at 25, especially because I used to drink, right? I take better care of myself. So the point is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is known as the willpower muscle, the self-discipline muscle. They've taken and studied the brains of Olympic athletes. They have bigger dorsolateral prefrontal cortexes. So I joke with Kev, him and I are into fitness. He wants to be jacked. I want the most jacked dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. But the only way to train, if you don't use it, you lose it. The only way to train the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is to do something painful and challenging by choice. It doesn't get bigger and stronger unless you use it. And you don't use it if your boss is looking over your shoulder. It has to be by choice. It has to be autonomous. It has to be, I'm going to go for a run even though I don't feel like it because I'm going to force myself to do something painful on purpose. And if you do that every day, I started running a mile a day. I call it Miles for Mindset 93 days ago. And the reason Miles for Mindset requires two things. Number one, the minimum is a mile and I have to be running. It can be a light jog or an intense run, but it has to be more than walking, and it has to be learning something. I have to be training my brain. So it can be inspirational, motivational, or educational. Sometimes it's a podcast motivational thing. Sometimes it's a book. I was listening to a book last night during my run, and I track it. And my lowest time right now is 7:14. My worst time is like 17 minutes. I was doing it in trails, actually with Emilia, my partner, and she's kind of slow, to be honest. And I've told her that, so we're good. I have these gazelle legs. But anyways, so my point of this, though, is my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is getting bigger and stronger every day because I'm choosing to run a mile even though I hate running. We've got it wrong. People think, resistance is bad. No, it's not. Can you imagine a Navy SEAL being like, resistance is bad? No. Resistance and challenge is good. Resistance and challenge is good. Strength equals the weight of the load plus time under tension. So if you're constantly distracted and you never do anything difficult by choice, you are going to have all kinds of challenges.
Yes.
If I were to give you this, the three things you have to work on if you want to be successful, number one is focus. You have to train your focus. I have a timer going right now. I train my time on task. I time my time on task every day. You don't have to be as nuts as me, but you have to stay focused. That's number one. Number two, self-discipline. You have to do things that you don't feel like doing and force yourself to do them. And then the third one would be self-belief. You have to build self-belief over time. And the only way to do that is to set and hit meaningful goals. If you aim too high, you get humble pie. If you aim too low, you don't grow. So you got to find that challenge skills sweet spot.
Right. I can totally resonate with the words you just said. For example, focus and discipline. For me personally, the challenge was when I started my run. I did my target was doing two sub of half marathon, but I did half marathon in 2.5 hours, and
Nice.
I was surprised that why there is an endurance run because I need to speed up. So I am doing a tempo run and speed run. But what is the significance of endurance run? But when I did my marathon without the headphones, I realized that this is what the endurance run was for. To be with my own thoughts for that
Yeah.
long and staying focused to match the time that I have practiced for. And I didn't realize until I put it into practice. Because I, like you said, the motivation, the content you consume, you choose to consume that works for you is also a choice. It's a conscious decision. It's not something you have been given or something you have been distracted with. And that is, I believe, many professionals struggle with because consistency become harder despite all these tools for them.
Yeah. It's not the tools.
Yes.
And I want to talk about this too. Sorry, I told you my HVAC, my AC went out, so it's like 95 degrees in here. We're working with it. I'm not. It's very hot. So if I'm sweating, I apologize. But it's not the tools.
Hmm.
To me, it doesn't. Some of the most productive people I know don't even use tech that much. I actually think the tools are more of a distraction than anything. I have people who use Clockify and all that stuff, and that's fine. I use an old school timer. I think it's better because you know what? Instagram's not on it.
Hmm.
This notebook, right? It's called a Remarkable. You want to know the best thing about
Yeah.
this? It's a digital notepad. The best part about this is it doesn't have any apps on it.
Any apps on it?
No apps. See, my phone is boring. I took the colors off it on purpose. I make everything as boring as possible. And the reason why is because I need to train my brain to not need novelty all the time.
Right.
If you are constantly, there's a book called The Molecule of More, and it talks about dopamine, and it talks about your dopamine receptors and how if you're constantly, it's like if you watch a movie from the 70s, it's super boring. And it's the opening is like 15 minutes long, you know? Yeah.
This weekend I've seen Taxi Driver
Oh, did you recently?
of Robert De Niro.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. You
recently.
know it. Robert De Niro with Martin Scorsese. You know it. You know it.
I
So
know.
the old movies nowadays it gets right into the action because people have shorter attention spans.
Yes.
I understand. Okay, I do. You have to train your attention span. You have to. If you can't focus for 30 minutes at a time, you cannot win. The only way to succeed is to get into what's called flow. The only way to get into flow, it takes a minimum of 11 minutes to get into flow, and we are distracted on average every 3 minutes. My desk, my office is boring on purpose. I have nothing in here that will ring or ding or bing or vibrate. No rings, dings. I am with you, just with you. That is my priority, my one focus. Now, the moment if something were to happen, I heard a crash downstairs or something, of course, I would stop my focus from you and I would go do that. And people think, well, I have kids. I need that. What if they call me? We survived without cell phones.
It's really
I didn't have cell phones growing up. I'm 37 years old. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was probably 16, 15, something like that, 16. We survived before cell phones. Your kids will be okay, right? And what if something happens? You're right. That's possible. But you got to ask yourself the question, am I going to spend the rest of my life constantly distracted, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I'm getting nowhere fast, running on this treadmill that is speeding up every day? Or am I going to do deep, intentional work behind the scenes, distraction-free, that matters and that's meaningful? There's something called deep work. There's a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And he talks about how the future will be, the most successful people of the future will be the people that are the most focused. And I coach 38 individuals. I am telling you right now, the people who are the most focused are the most successful. not just in finance, but in fitness, in life. I also coach couples. I've been coaching couples for 6 years. Emilia and I, we have a Conscious Couples podcast together, and we coach individuals and couples. The couples that are the most successful are the ones who spend quality time without distraction. If you see a couple at dinner and they're both on their phones, they are not fulfilled.
They're not happy.
They're not happy. But their picture on Instagram looks happy, right?
Yeah.
So real world, social world. Let me just give you this real quick. Social world, real world. Social world is your Instagram account. Real world is your bank account. Social world is the wedding photos. The real world is the marriage. 2 guesses which one matters more. Focus on the real world over the social world. Both matter, okay? Our reputation matters. Our brand matters. I get it. But you got to get your syntax right. In high school, we learn that our reputation, we care more about what other people think of us than what we think of us.
Yes,
Hopefully,
right.
when you grow up, you flip that script and you realize, okay, it doesn't matter how good my Instagram looks if I'm not also in the gym, if my marriage isn't magnificent or my relationship isn't magnificent or my health isn't magnificent. Like, get your real life right first. And then it will look good as a byproduct. Don't try to manufacture looking good at the expense of your real life. And I do think that
Yes.
that's
I agree.
happening to an alarming extent because of social media. I'm grateful that you think my Instagram is inspirational and motivational. I think that's great. I try my best to be inspiring and motivating and educational. And if you read the posts, I try to put success principles in there that will be helpful to what I wish my younger self would see. But at the end of the day, I care more about my workout than the video.
Yeah, I agree in this. Like sometimes even I follow some same values. Recently, what I did is I changed my content preferences in Instagram and I use it at a specific time only for networking purposes
Nice.
related to business and podcast and socializing.
Yep.
Then uh, I felt that most of the time I used to be procrastinator, but now I have so much of time. Once I plan and organize, I realize that I have more time
I
rather than
know.
I was thinking that I'm busy. Then slowly, everything got structured, things got better and efficient, and I started practicing gratitude and I started journaling also. So my thoughts and I
Nice.
got the vision clarity too. And these are not just, a kind of a philosophical words. It's a basic life for me now
Yep.
because the clarity I have and the relations I've built, I started reconnecting with people. I was surprised to see that in for podcast when I started re-engaging with the old contacts or old business partners, they were happy to connect because somewhere I valued individual more and the people more
Yeah.
rather than like the
Yeah.
superficial
Social
things
media.
which I just
Yep.
mentioned as social
Yep.
media.
The world has gotten exponentially more vain.
Yes,
Right? I
and
get it, right? I have a nice shirt on. I take care of myself. I want to look good too. But like the plastic surgery, it's gotten excessive. It's gotten excessive. Like we need to get back to, yeah, I mean, I'm 37. I'm a millennial. We got to get back to the basics, like old school. We need to kick it old school. Like there's only plastic surgery is not going to make you fulfilled.
yeah, I don't understand.
We've gotten too focused on how we look and not focused enough on how we feel.
Yeah, in the world of appearances, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I want to share this with you too. For anyone out there watching or listening, you don't have to like me. I just want you to hear what I say. All right. This is very helpful. Whenever my clients say I don't have the time, I always say, whoa, let me explain something to you. There's 168 hours a week, 7 days a week times 24 hours. We all have 168 hours a week. If you sleep 8, you still have 112 waking hours. If you have a full-time job, you still have 72 hours left.
oh,
All right, and I can show you the math. 168 is 7 times 24. 8 times 7 is 56 minus 168. You still have 112 waking hours. Minus 40, you're looking at 72 waking hours, even with a full-time job. Well, I work overtime. Okay, then you have 62 hours. We have so much time. The average time on Netflix is 2 hours and 48 minutes.
yes.
2 hours and 48 minutes a day is insane. It's insane. If you add up your Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, you add up your Instagram, your Facebook, all the social media, you're realizing you're going to have 6 hours a day available if you just stop. I'm all for. I watch Netflix. I have a show that I'm watching right now that I love. It's called SEAL Team. 1 episode a day. One.
Yes.
Now, I'm all for R&R. R&R is very important. I'm not taking that away. Here's the deal. Don't tell yourself a story you don't have time. Every time someone says, I don't have time to go to the gym, I have kids. Are there people with kids who go to the gym? I just got off a podcast with a guy. His name's John Brink. He's 86 years old. The dude lifts weights every day. Every day.
Wow.
He's doing a fitness competition, actually. It's pretty cool. And he's 86. And it's like, these excuses are just inaccurate. They're just inaccurate. Don't lie to yourself. You do have the time. You're wasting time. I used to think I was productive. Okay. I am productive now, but when I first left corporate, I had a rude awakening. I bought this productivity journal and I would track my time. And I realized like I actually was productive when I had someone watching me or over my shoulder. Listen, in high school, the bell rings, you better be in class, you better be on time. Sports, you better be there. You always have, and then corporate, same deal. You have a boss or a supervisor, whatever. And then all of a sudden I was an entrepreneur and it was like, oh, I guess my self-discipline isn't as big as I thought it was. So I had to work on it. My dorsolateral prefrontal cortex was weak and now it's very strong. Now I feel very disciplined. But the only reason I'm disciplined is because I was humble enough to admit that I'm not. You have to be humble enough. I did a Toastmasters speech this week on Tuesday. 30 people in the room, and I said, listen, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like the content. I just ask that you actually contemplate what I'm saying. And the first step to the name of the speech was how to become the most productive and effective version of yourself. And I said, step 1, admit you're not.
Acceptance.
The acceptance. Accept and admit and become aware. And I said this. I said, I have a timer. I track my time on task every single day. Yesterday was a big day. I had 8.2. All right, 8.2 hours. I have a timer where I track time on task. And I said, if everyone here actually carried a timer and clicked it on when they were on task, and then every time they got distracted, they click it off before you go to the bathroom, click it off before you do laundry, click it off before you're doing whatever, click it off before you get that random phone call on Instagram, you would realize that you are not that productive. You are spending the majority of your day distracted. And the only way to train this is to actually work on it, right? Just like you tried to get your time with your half marathon, you have to work on that. You have to train each day. So when you see someone in public who is very successful, typically it's something they're doing behind the scenes when no one's watching that has made that happen. Just like when you see someone run a marathon, the latest marathoner like almost broke the 2-hour mark or whatever. And it's like that is a decade of training. We look at the one day and go, wow. But what you're not seeing is the decade of training that led to that day.
Yes. And the loneliness, I remember waking up at 5 in the morning and going for a run for months, all alone. But that's all right. Okay.
That's
For
what
the
it
next
takes.
segment, that's what it takes, I believe. But you know what? I'll be honest with you, Alan. The type of conversation what we are having, and it changed my life. The podcast and the choices of like the boring stuff I chose to do, reading especially, because I realized that this digital cocaine, Instagram, the instant gratification,
Yeah,
is not
digital
enough
cocaine.
healthy.
Well put. Yep, digital cocaine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then from India, I have this very religious and the cultural belief. So it includes a lot of meditation and isolation
Yep.
and inner reflection and engineering kind of, actually personal development works. It's already there in part of culture.
Yeah.
So I started embracing it. So I have for the next segment, I have just few questions. It's kind of a rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Let's do it. Being concise is not my strength.
But we already covered it in the earlier discussion you just mentioned. The book everyone should read.
The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Okay. Any more you want to suggest?
Yeah, The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler.
Okay.
And Peak by Anders Ericsson.
Great. Most underrated habit?
Habit tracking.
And biggest lesson from podcasting?
Everyone is fearful, but not of the same thing. You have to understand who you're talking to. Otherwise, what you are saying will not resonate.
And one belief about success you have changed your mind about?
Yeah, I believe that it's all about the dirt, not the clouds. I think that AI has the answers. And this is what I say. Anyone can teach you how to lose weight. Almost no one can get you to actually do it. Knowledge is not power. Behavior change is.
Agree. I think it was good, Alan. This has been a fantastic conversation. Uh, we had limited time, but I'm sure that maybe we can connect again, and I will uh, ask and learn more from you because there are more set of questions I want to get out. But no problem. And I want to ask you if there is any one message you like every professional listening today to remember about discipline, fulfillment, or success. What would it be?
Yeah, it would be when you get to the end of your life, you're going to regret. You're not going to regret the time you spent on task doing meaningful work. You're going to regret the stuff you wasted time on that was not meaningful. Live your life around what matters and what's meaningful, and let this nonsense that's outside of that slip away. Create a give up list. Give up on the things that don't matter so that you can double and triple down on the things that do.
Right. And for our listeners, if they want to learn more about you, connect with you, where they can find you.
If you have high humility, high work ethic, and a ridiculous improvement orientation, you're going to love our show. You're going to love me. You're going to love Kev. We're tried and true fundamentals. If you don't want to work hard, you're going to hate us. We don't believe in any quick fixes. We don't believe in any entitlement. We don't believe you. We're strivers, not arrivers. We're not gurus. We are climbing our own unique mountain as well. And so, anyone who's lazy, arrogant, entitled, you're going to absolutely despise our content. That's okay. It's not for you. If it is for you, you love hard work. If it is for you, you want to reach your full potential. If it is for you, you want to do more, not less. And you want to see what you're capable of. And you want to believe in yourself more and make a difference. If that's you, nextleveluniverse.com is our website. Next Level University is the name of our podcast. We're on YouTube and all the platforms. We are about to surpass our 2,500th episode. So we do an episode every day. Success and personal development in your pocket every single day from anywhere on the planet, completely free. 0.1% improvement in your pocket every single day. Steve Jobs said you have 1,000 songs in your pocket when he came out with the iPhone. We say you have a male role model, a mentor who's with you on the journey every single day in your pocket. And we both grew up without fathers. And Kevin and I were searching for male role models without knowing it. And we were very disappointed when we met a lot of our heroes, very disappointed. And so I think that we decided to become our own heroes and our own male role models because we didn't have dads. And we're just trying to lead the way. We're trying to lead the way the best we can. And we've really worked hard to get rid of all the shiny nonsense that's vain and stupid. And so it's very tried and true fundamentals. It's success principles that we debate about every single day, and it's going to get you to think and help you become better. You're great. I'm great. Awesome. Don't care. Your future is bright when you improve. And so no matter how hard your past has been, no matter how hard your present is, your future is bigger, better, and brighter on the other side of hard work and getting better. And there's always a next level. It's always a next level.
Yeah, wonderful. On that very powerful note and thoughts, Alan, thank you for joining us on Corporate Elements.
Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate you.
And to everyone listening, remember this: success isn't built in moments of motivation, it's built in moments of discipline. We'll see you in the next episode.